Hey, Geocache Talk Network fans. If you love what we do and want to support the shows, we've got two great ways to help keep the adventure going. You can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/geocachetalk for exclusive perks. Or if you prefer a one-time boost, buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/geocachetalknetwork. Every bit of support helps us bring you more geocaching fun, stories, and shows. So whether it's a membership or a coffee, we appreciate you being part of making the Geocache Talk Network operate. Thanks, and happy caching.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Hello, and welcome to Geocache Talk, Geocache Talk, Challenge Talk, part of the Geocache Talk Network. You can watch the show live on the second Tuesday of each month. Feel free to jump over to YouTube, Facebook, or X to watch the broadcast live and join the wonderful and active chat room, or listen to the entire Challenge Talk show later on your favorite podcast player or YouTube.
Yay! And tonight, we'll be talking with rragan about strategies for completing a DeLorme Challenge.
DeLorme or DeLorme? That's great. We also have prizes to give away each show to our listeners. Between each show, be sure to email your challenge cache finds to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com and you could be a winner.
Later in the show, we'll play our special game exclusively for our live audience, the Wheel of Challenges. So listen live, get your email app ready, and follow the instructions when the time comes so you can have a chance at winning tonight's grand prize.
And at the end of the show, we'll highlight some of the challenge caches you found, and someone will win our coveted monthly giveaway. So hello, we are your hosts, Emily and Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I am just wonderful today. I have so much going on, and this year is flying so much by. Um, it's been crazy. So I got a few notes that I have to talk about, and the first one is an error correction.
Oh, okay.
My good buddy Bounce Bounce, our good buddy Bounce Bounce, was recently on Caching in the Northwest, and I know that absolutely none of our fan base watches that show. Actually, I think all of our fan base watches that show. And Chad announced that Challenge Talk was going to have a major announcement in April. Wrong. Sorry. Our major announcement show will be in May. It'll be May the 15th. And this year, because we know it's in Hawaii, we know some people are going to have trouble with getting there. Our pre-event challenges are going to allow everyone on the planet to participate.
That's right.
So you don't have to go to win something, but we'll announce it in May. So hold on tight.
Right. That's our cool typical update for that challenge, our at-home challenge. So yeah, we're gonna stick to that schedule.
We'll stick to the schedule. And something that I can spill the beans on tonight.
All right, good.
We are creating, actually, again, Bounce Bounce and Semmel's 123 are creating Academy coins that will be available for purchase. There's going to be a Gadget Academy coin, a Challenge Talk coin, and a Puzzle Talk coin that will be available, and they're going to be Hawaiian themed. They will be specifically for Cache Fest, and they will be available as a pre-event purchase coming soon. And in fact, Chad told me he was hoping to have the renderings up this weekend. So make sure you check into the Cache Fest website and you'll learn more about it.
Yeah, very fun.
And if that weren't enough, there's this other event coming.
What else are you involved with, Tim?
Woodstock. Everybody knows that or at least most people that listen to the show know that I'm an ambassador for Woodstock. So I got to keep promoting it. We are going to have so much fun in Morgantown this year. And as a special sneak surprise, Challenge Talk is going to be there as well.
That's right.
We're going
But
to
with
be
a
live
twist.
on Saturday at 3 p.m. in
Uh-huh.
the event pavilion. And unfortunately, Emily didn't have enough leaves on the money tree this year to come
That's right.
join us. So we're going to have a special guest. Electric Water Boy is going to join us.
That is going to be really fun. Tom
It
on
should
Challenge
be a
Talk.
lot of fun.
Yeah, very good.
And last but not least is Camp MyGo, the other event that I'm one of the host committee for. I wanted to plug our Friday morning game. It's going to be called Caribbean in Michigan. And it's going to be so much fun. Caribbean is a board game where you travel around the board and you collect treasure, watching out for pirates. Well, in our version of the game, we're going to have an adventure where you have to go to 10 different sites around the state recreation area and collect cards. And the cards might have treasure. They might have a lot of treasure, or they might have a pirate. You never know.
Who's taking your treasure?
So that's all I've got going on, Emily. What about
just
you?
a little bit? Nothing geocaching. I've managed to stay plenty busy, but really in the past month, I've filled in one gap on my non-traditional calendar, and I'm always happy to get a chance to do that because it's a rare day. Most days that day comes along, I get the pop-up in my calendar and I'm like, snooze this till next year. It's not happening today. So it's just a long slog to filling that in. But hey, like I said, happy to do it anytime I can.
Bummer. And before we get into the news, should we introduce a special guest?
Yeah, he's here. He's ready to go. So we might as well.
Let's bring him in.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, welcome to Challenge Talk. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, loving it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to have you on this side of the screen tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You get all the behind the scenes activity tonight. Learn how all of our secrets.
I didn't get the M&Ms in the green room, though.
Oh, no. Sorry about that. We didn't mail them in time.
Yeah, we left you a little bit long. So we covered our new stuff, but now we have to cover a little bit of news. Do you want to kick it off, Emily?
I do want to kick it off with this fun announcement.
The adventure of a lifetime is setting sail. Join us on an unforgettable cruise to Sweden, where geocaching meets breathtaking Nordic landscapes. Alongside our friends from the Geocache Talk Network, we'll explore hidden treasures, swap stories with fellow geocachers, and unlock the secrets of Sweden's most scenic caches. But that's not all. This trip is extra special. We're on a mission to find the legendary fourth loop of the DeLorme Challenge, GC4D, the Match Stash. This is the oldest currently active geocache in Sweden and the second oldest in Europe. It is still being maintained by its original owner. From sunrise over the Baltic to the thrill of discovering hidden gems, every moment is a new adventure. Pack your phone and trackables, bring your sense of adventure, and get ready for an epic journey. This is geocaching like you've never experienced before.
All right. Yeah,
All right.
I'm super excited for that.
I am too.
I can say the Match Stash is well worth a visit.
Oh, good.
You have it? You have it in your collection?
Yeah, Rich has Quad Jasmer. Yeah.
All right.
And so this is just so relevant to our community. We know that it's kind of a big thing, but, you know, I'm excited. So my internet glitched there for a second, but the video probably said, if you have interest, email Geocache Talk. Oh, shoot, I'm going to get it wrong. geocachetalk@gmail.com. You guys know. And because that way they're going to keep track of who has interest and keep getting more info to you so you can make your plans and hopefully be able to join us. So I'm very excited about that.
The first step was to collect enough interested people to kind of get a travel agent engaged, get the cruise company involved to say, you know, we are a mass of folks. And I know I'm looking so forward to my trip to the Baltic this year. I did send in my I'm interested note. So,
but you get to beat us this year. Yeah.
I think I'm going to try. We'll see how it works out. So
right.
a couple of other dates.
Oh, I was just
Sorry.
going to say, it's exciting to share the mental load of such a big plan by
I
going on a
know.
group trip. Yeah.
And I'm really glad I'm not part of the planning process on that one. I've done enough planning for the year.
Hmm.
So,
There you go.
but on March the 17th, it's right around the corner. Treasures is going to be released.
That's
Are you
right.
excited, Rich?
You
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
I'm so excited. That is Monday. Bring it on. I've said it before on this podcast. Whatever they throw our way, I'm a sucker for. I'm here to do it. Can't wait. Can't wait to check the app on Monday.
Hope the leprechaun left some gold for me on that day.
There you go. Yeah, I hope so. And let's see, the other important date this Friday. Here in the United States, we call it Pi Day.
Yep.
So there's another souvenir available. You just have to find a mystery cache on Friday.
Mhm.
And what better mystery to find than a challenge? Is it challenge accepted?
Very good.
Yeah,
I kind
yeah.
of forgot all about that. I'm glad that's in our news.
Yeah.
And spring Cedo is ticking on now.
Yes, it is. It is spring season.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had one other one, Emily.
Pajamas.
Yeah, so BFMC Geocachers sent this in, a 25 themed challenge geo art for the block party in Melbourne. And so this is a picture from the map of what that looks like.
Nice.
So that's a really
Oh,
fun
wow.
challenge trail for celebrating 25 years. And we'll have this in the show note, but if you want to find a reference for that art, the first cache in the series is GCAXK3H.
Now, Emily, I don't know all of our watchers and listeners by their real name, many of them much less their caching name, but do you know Jim's caching name?
George
He's-
Clooney. Just
Okay.
kidding.
Okay, good. All right, anyway,
Sorry.
Jim is watching us tonight from the hospital. There's got to
Yeah,
be a geocaching
sorry about
story
that.
behind that.
I hope
Jim,
it's a
we hope you,
geocaching
thanks for
story.
listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and speedy recovery. Get back out on the geocaching trail.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Finally, in our monthly yeppin' is our monthly stats. And this was an interesting month because we are now at 45,394 active challenge caches in the world. And that is up 472 from last month. And we are very near 18,000 in the United States. We need 5 more. It's 17,995. So we're close. So that's what I've got for this month. What have you got? What more have you got, Emily?
Well, so I apologize. My internet's
Oh,
really taking me in and out here, so I'm trying to keep up. But Tim, I think you saw in our email, Cheeky Brit said that he hid 30 challenge caches in Wyoming. So shortly, Wyoming's challenge count will triple from 15 to 45, bumping up Wyoming in the rankings from 49th to 45th, overtaking Louisiana, Alaska, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. So those 4 states challenge on. That's really
there you
fun.
go.
Thanks for doing your part.
Yeah. All right. Really cool.
All right.
So, and sorry to hear about your internet.
Yeah.
I'll do my best to jump in where I needed to be, but the plan for tonight was Rich and Emily were going to have this conversation about DeLorme. I think that's how you say it.
DeLorme.
Rich?
That's a good
DeLorme,
introduction, Tim. I have heard so many people say it so many ways, but I think in short, whether you say DeLorme, DeLorme, or really get French with it, which I cannot, everyone knows what we're talking about. But if you don't, and Rich is really going to get deep into some stuff. So before he does, what is this DeLorme Atlas? So Rich, you've got yours. I've got my trusty DeLorme Atlas. They look a little different, but they do the same thing. Tim's like a wannabe. No, just kidding.
Mine's the invisible one.
Tim
Michigan
has
is
the least,
archived.
Tim has the least interest of the three of us, but that's okay. Doesn't mean it's not a good topic.
Right.
So what is this atlas? So the DeLorme Atlas and Gazetteer is a large format paper map for all 50 states. And Rich, California has 2 of them, right? Because it splits into northern.
Three.
Oh, 3, because it splits the whole state, northern and southern.
Right.
And these are topographic maps with elevation contours, major highways and roads, dirt roads, trails, land use data, information for the outdoor enthusiast, point of interest, landmarks, national parks, state parks, campgrounds, so much stuff in these atlases. Basically, it's like a giant blown up atlas of a state or an area of a state. Mm-hmm. And all these different pages or these sections of the state are different pages of the atlas. So that's why it's such a huge atlas for just one state. And just as a fun fact, DeLorme was acquired by Garmin in 2016. We're all familiar with Garmin as well. So that leads us to what is the DeLorme Challenge. So you have the atlas, and then the challenge is for any given state or area of a DeLorme for California, find a geocache on all map pages of the atlas. So of course, there's some extra pages that aren't maps, but you're trying to fill in like a county every page of the map. And so this is a grandfathered challenge. You cannot hide a new DeLorme challenge at this point. So because of that, some states have lost their DeLorme challenge. If it gets archived, it's gone forever. And that is Michigan, Kentucky, and Idaho. We're sorry to those states who don't have one anymore. So if you take anything away, don't get the DeLorme archived because it can never come back. So Rich, this is quite the big undertaking. I should expand on that, why this is a grandfathered challenge. Unlike counties, these areas are not geographically defined areas. I don't know if I'm going to get the term right. It's like not a government defined area. It is this company breaking it up for this map. And so that's why it doesn't naturally generate out of geocaching statistics. Therefore, it does not meet current guidelines for hiding a challenge cache, unlike a county challenge.
I'd get all fussy about that because boundaries are determined by latitude and longitude lines on those pages.
There you go. Hey, that's a good point. I didn't think you make. Those are geocaching things. But here we are. Those are the rules today. Yeah. But Rich, you are a DeLorme tools expert. You have done the work to give the rest of us some amazing tools that I had no idea about when I was finishing my Oregon DeLorme Challenge. And so I'm really excited. I was very excited to stumble on your tools and very excited to have you here to talk through your tools with us. So are you ready to pull those tools out?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So,
okay. Are we on screen here now? Good.
We are on screen with the tools.
It all started in January 1 of 2004 when a cacher named Hayakuli published the California DeLorme Challenge for the northern part of the state, which is this book I showed you earlier. And this was the very first DeLorme Challenge ever. And Hayakuli had some interesting characteristics there. The goal was to find a cache on each of the pages, 22 through page 125 in the atlas, for a total of 104 pages in all. And you had to have those finds verified and then sign the final to qualify the challenge. It allowed all types except for events. It did, strangely enough, allow multis and puzzles using the published coordinates to determine the page they were on. We'll talk more about that a little later.
Sure.
Some interesting facts about the DeLorme. The first one, Hayakuli offered a home-cooked meal to anybody who finished it.
I love that.
All the way up to 2010 when she adopted the challenge to Casey Searcher, who owns it today.
Uh-huh.
he admits that cooking is not his forte, but to keep the tradition alive, he will buy you a meal if you finish it.
Very nice.
So it goes on. That has a life of its own now. It still continues. Currently, there are 47 live DeLorme State Challenges out there. This one published in 2004. By 2005, 8 more had sprung up in other states. And a year later, in 2005, we had another 19 coming alive. So they ramped up fast once people discovered this kind of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, a few have become archives. So please, if you've got one, plan a succession plan. Let somebody take it over. California has 3 because the state's kind of tall and big and stuff. And one for Northern California, one for Southern and Central, and one called the Golden State, which covers the entire state. Turns out Delaware and Maryland share one.
Oh.
The shortest is Rhode Island, which only has 12 pages. So if you want to rack up a DeLorme, there's one for you.
Very good.
Strangely enough, there are 2 in British Columbia.
2?
Yeah, and one in Sweden.
And one in Sweden.
Atlas from over there, although they called it a DeLorme.
Something to add to our cruise, maybe.
Yeah, there are. So you'll run across a handful of partial DeLorme challenges. Like there's one for a middle part of Tennessee. If you search DeLorme on challenges on Project GC, Challenge Checker Finder, you'll find one in Middle Tennessee, which is just a central chunk of the state, simplified thing. You'll find one for Alaska where, as you read the description, it's only a certain section of Alaska because it had sat there for a number of years and nobody had begun to finish it because Alaska is so big and so wild that they shrunk it.
Yeah, I know. I have a friend that's trying to finish the county challenge, and the one cache they went for in the one county that you had to fly into, they had to DNF.
Oh.
And so now she's got to go back because the timing of her trip didn't allow her to do that. But that's the last county she needs to finish the United States.
Wow.
Wow.
And, I'll drop the name that, because I know Max listens a lot. But Max B on the River, congratulations. I hope you get it this year.
Yep. One of the things you'll run across, because of the limits of print technology, and not costing extra pages in the books, DeLorme would sometimes take 2 different parts of a state and put them on the same page.
Yes.
So you'll find with California, there's one on the west side of the state and one on the east side of the state, and they're on the same page.
Oh goodness, that's really far apart. We were chatting about that for Oregon, and they're really close together.
Well, this rule, if you read, you got to read the rules carefully on the description, what's allowed and what isn't. Either one will qualify the page, as it turns out, for California.
Yeah, interesting. That is such a good point. Read the description. You're probably going to end up saying that several times tonight.
Oh, I will. I'll keep it, because the last thing you want to do is go back several hundred miles because you screwed up and didn't read it.
Yeah, they are not all created equal. Starcasher just said Ohio no longer has a DeLorme challenge.
Possibly, if that's a recent change, I'll have to update my documents. But the thing about the archived ones is they're still out there. You can still have a personal challenge goal to go complete them. And my tools try to support them if we have underlying data to define the page boundaries. We'll look at Ohio if I remember when we get there.
That's a good point too. The challenge is a great cherry on top, but you can still hit a cache on every page of the DeLorme Atlas on your own.
Yeah, I mean, there's some states that don't have state county challenges, but people still go after all the counties. California has one other weird one. The Golden State DeLorme Challenge in California requires for page 139 a find on the mainland and a second find on Catalina Island.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
Take a ferry over to get that one. I'm pretty sure we're guessing ahead of time. We talked about Washington State probably has some ferry.
Has some ferry traveling. Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Things you should do or think about before you tackle a DeLorme challenge. Read the description very carefully and then read it again. You need to know the rules vary from state to state. Iowa does not allow virtuals, but other states do. California Golden State limits the cache types more than the original one did. So you can't have multis and puzzles for the Golden State, but you can have them for the original challenge. Check what types are allowed and remember that when you go out there. Just because you found a multi on a page, you may discover, oops, that doesn't work. You need to understand where the final is. Some of them say, I'll tell you explicitly where it is. The California DeLorme Northern tells you it's in the owner's front yard. The Southern one is up on top of a mountain that is quite a hike to get to, but you can go up there and sign it before you complete. The Golden State is in the possession of Cache Dog these days, and you have to go visit him in Sacramento to get the magic box with the special log in it and sign it. And so figure out where it's going to be, because if it's on a particular page, you'll want to sign it even though you're not done, if you can get to it while you're there.
Right.
So you don't have to go back.
Team DEMP said he just completed the New Jersey, which only has 58 pages.
Hi, David. One of the most important things I can suggest, find a crazy partner to go with you.
I love that.
Who also wants to do this. Because you need a co-pilot. It helps. Because something's going to require a little two minds smarter than one, and to prevent you from doing something stupid like driving past the cache when you didn't mean to, and all those things. And you'll have a lot more fun.
There is so much in your mind when you are trying to be so precise and not miss something. I've been there and then just really upset at myself when I realized the mistake. Because I wasn't bouncing it off anyone. I was in my own head. Part
of plan is assume that things will go wrong. Murphy was correct. He was an optimist. So have a plan B and even a plan C, because something isn't going to work out. You know, we had a friend of mine did one up north, and she had to detour a long way around a fire that was under.
Oh yeah.
You know, or we had snow in one area which you had to dodge. So we got detoured by a Cal Fire truck on route we were taking, had to go a long way around to get past it and back up to pick up a cache that was still on that page. So these are totally, you can't plan for these things.
No.
They happen. Take a paper, print out a plan for each page you're working on, the order you're going to visit them in, so you can check them off when you get there, and make notes. Sometimes that's important too. While you're doing it, if this may sound a lot like things you do for a county challenge, have a plan, have a plan A, a plan B, a backup. While you're doing this, you probably want to just go ahead and score your county challenge for that state too. Get a twofer at it if you can.
You might as well, yeah. And I know that Lori in the chat, she's from Washington, and she let us know that you can drive around most of them, but there's a couple that you have to take a ferry in order to complete Washington. So there we go.
The thing about DeLorme is every page is part of some county, so you're there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But do some of the pages have multiple counties on them?
Yeah. You got to think about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the county boundaries and the page boundaries do not align.
Right. So you could get one cache on a page boundary, page boundary, and it might have 3 counties and you just missed 2 of them.
Right.
So let's talk about tools. Before I started tackling this in 2021 with my buddy, GW0143, who I cache with frequently, I figured I needed some tools to help because it was just a big problem. And having been a software developer for my whole career and a Cache Tour ambassador as well, I had a good understanding of the Cache Tour Trip Assistant, which is a browser extension. So I took that and I cloned it and adapted it to provide DeLorme map pages, boundaries laid out on top of the map rather than routes and things like that. We'll show that in a little bit. But it's a cache store extension, runs with Tamper Monkey, and you can use that to look at a page and see what caches are in that page that might be of interest to you since you want that page. And then I built a second tool called a bookmarklet tool. A bookmarklet is a piece of JavaScript that you can store in your bookmark bar, and when you run it, the browser executes that JavaScript to do something. In this case, my bookmarklet bar will tell you what page the cache you're looking at is on.
Nice.
We'll see it happening in a minute. Let's bring up, we got the screen share up?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so you see the DeLorme Challenge for Northern. I'm going to switch to the next one over. There'll be a link in the show notes for this Google Doc, which describes the DeLorme tools I built and how to install them and how to use them. So this is the stuff I just said. I built them because I needed them, and they work great. The bookmarklet tool has a URL. You get this URL, you bring it up in the browser, and you get a page that looks like this. And let's say I want to, here's the states for which we have bookmarklet tool support. Ohio does not have a frowny face, which is interesting because a frowny face means it's archived, but you could still do it. We have data for it.
Okay, I got to ask, Rich, did you bring up a window when you
I need to share. Yeah, I did. I changed windows.
Oh, we can see it.
Can everybody else?
I see the window here, but I'm showing Alabama at the top.
That's right. I haven't changed anything. You see a drop?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ohio. So you have to.
No, I scrolled down far enough to see Ohio didn't have a frowny face.
On this main screen?
Yeah, here's Michigan, frowny face.
Okay. We don't see that in the.
Do we have screen height problems?
Well, StreamYard doesn't like to show sub windows in a window.
Ah.
So when you make your selection, we don't get to see it. So
this
what happens if you select Michigan and submit, or Ohio and submit?
And then submit.
Yeah.
Then I get this, which is the desired outcome. Drag this bookmarklet bar.
Well, I was going to say, don't click on it there because now we can see.
No, it's all right. Let's go back.
I can't see the window.
Let's do it for Oregon instead, okay?
Okay, sure.
I'll bring up Oregon.
But when you make the selection,
it won't matter because it's going to go straight into the bookmark bar, straight in this window. Okay? So now I have a bookmarklet for Oregon. You can see that, right? Because it's part of the browser window. And I have one for Arizona.
Okay. Yep.
Right. And if I were to, well, let's go ahead, and I've got Arizona. Let's go ahead and get an Arizona cache here handy. This will do nicely. I think this is going to stay in the window, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So here's one in Arizona. So if I click the bookmarklet here, this may not show. I don't know. It's a pop-up.
It did show.
It tells me it's on DeLorme page 52, which is exactly what I want to know.
Right. And so that's your cache tour add-in.
Nope. Pure, stupid JavaScript bookmarklet. No extensions required.
Okay, very good. Okay. I apologize. I don't have very good vision on the tiny view that we have of it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But I did see it change.
This is the low-tech solution for anybody who doesn't want to install extensions and Tamper monkeys and all that kind of stuff. You can bring up a web page of a cache and simply say, "Oh, well, what's it on? Oh, it's on page 52."
Yeah, and I didn't see the pop-up again either. Again,
it's not showing the pop-up.
Yeah, no. The pop-up's on the window when we're showing the window, and we tested most of this before the show, but this is something I didn't quite know about.
It's dead simple. It says DeLorme page 52.
Yeah, no, it doesn't show us that.
Now, the other thing that you can do here, and this is a problem when you're out in darkest California with no data, and plan A fails, plan B fails, plan C fails. If you're lucky, you've downloaded offline lists of all the caches on that page. It's big, but you have it. And you pick up one you think might be on your page. and you go to some page that is not a cache page. I'm going to close this one. Like this one is not a cache page. And if I run, say, Oregon DeLorme, let's say I'm in Oregon, in the darkest part of Oregon, I get a page that says, this is not a cache page. Enter the coordinates of what you want, and we'll tell you what page it's on.
Okay.
Okay, and again, that's a sub menu
Yeah,
that we're not seeing.
It's a JavaScript pop-up, right?
Yeah, now if you would go back to that one state again, because I want to articulate some things for the listeners and the watchers. So we're on the generate DeLorme state bookmark page.
Yep.
Now, so when you make a selection and you drop down that window, we're not going to see it, but choose Michigan.
Well, you'll see part of it. You'll see part of it.
Choose Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, you'll see.
Okay, now now that you've selected it, we see it.
Submit.
And then submit.
The drag menu changed.
Right. And so now what happens when you click on the Ohio DeLorme?
Well, if I click that right now, it'll run that bookmark. But I'm really
okay, and it'll add a bookmark to the top of your
No, I want to drag it to put it in my bookmark bar.
Okay.
Right, like this.
Okay. And I don't see the drag, but I do see that it came up there.
It pops up. That's just the easiest way possible to install it.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect. So so Ohio must have, or what is that selecting from? Because Jim said that
this is
the Ohio
selecting from a whole bunch of data I have on GitHub about all of the known DeLormes and what their boundaries of their pages are.
Okay. All right. So that's the script that you put together. So it could be out of date.
If the state has become archived since I created this list and set that data up, then I need to go and update my material.
Okay. But selecting Michigan, we can see that there was a frowny face when you made the selection from the list.
I manually put the frowny face in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Not automatic.
It's not okay. All right. Good.
So that's how you first get a bookmark created. Ideally, you can use it while you're planning to confirm that the page you think it's on is really the page it's on. And if you're out in the middle of nowhere with no data and you've got some coordinates of a cache, you can find out what page it's going to turn up on. And confirm that you don't have to drive back there again.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I only want to make those long trips once.
Oh, yeah. Now, planning-wise, there's a methodology that I used when I did the planning, and you can kind of see it here. I used CacheTour for my planning because there's no better tool for planning routes and optimizing them, waypoints, and so on.
And I highly agree. And if you haven't seen your videos on YouTube about how to use CacheTour, I'll put that plug in there for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm an ambassador, so I have to say good things about it too. One of the things I do in planning is to put in the notes in CacheTour what page it's on. Just for reference. I also stick it in the personal note of the cache itself. So I've got it in 2 places. And then I've got, like, this one is a priority 3, which I've configured to mean it's a backup and don't route for it, but I want it there in case I need it.
Right.
And I labeled my comments as page 44 backup.
Right.
The one I'm hoping to get. Right. And so this is just a little trip I threw together for today.
And you got some frowny faces on that one.
Yeah, there's some here. That means somewhere in the last dozen or so finds somebody had a DNF, typically.
I thought it was yellow when the last find was DNF.
No, so we can check that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
There you go. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it'll show the frowny face.
Yeah.
If there's been a DNF in the last X, and it turns yellow if it's the last one.
Right. Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
So this is a trip I threw together for our discussion later on here as we go through this. So we talked about the bookmarklet tool, talked about the emergency mode. The Google Doc has instructions for installing the Tamper Monkey extension. And so if you actually look at Tamper Monkey, you will see, turn that off, turn this on, DeLorme Grid multi-state overlay. There we go. All right. So now if I go to a map page and reload here. It says DeLorme grid for the state of, pick my state. I'm going to pick Arizona because that's the one I planned the trip for. One of the things you can see is there is a grid laid over the state of Arizona here.
Yeah.
And if I tick the number sign, it shows me the page numbers for that grid.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Oh,
I
wow.
can turn them off again if I want. So
Mm-hmm.
you will also note on the state of Arizona, which is unlike many other states, there's a bit up at the top. Go away. Go away. Hang on. Scroll it over. Go away. These pages are part of tribal reservation land.
Okay.
That's why they say omit.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Oh.
Thanks. I can't see that well, so thank you
Yeah,
for
a little
saying
bit
that.
too small for us.
The description says you don't have to have those pages.
Okay.
So that's, again, something you need to know from the description. If you're
Right.
not required to have a page, I try to annotate it with an omit instead of the page number.
And I was going to make a note about page numbers. They don't start at 1 necessarily, because
No.
the atlas has so many pages of resources
Mhm.
that, for example, Oregon starts on page 17 through
Yep.
88. And so,
Arizona
it's-
starts on 15.
yeah, so there you go. Just another unique feature. Don't worry if you're missing pages 1 through whatever.
Good point. Of note is that you need to use, to see the grid, you need to use the browse map. The normal geocache default is the search map.
Oh,
HQ rewrote the search things about 3 or 4 months back and broke Cache Tourist Assistant badly.
Yes.
yeah, I remember that.
And it's been somewhat repaired, but the grid relies on the same thing as route lines, and route line is not fixed. We don't know how to fix that yet.
Okay.
So to see the grid lines, you need to go into browse mode
Okay.
instead of search mode.
Okay.
Then you can see the grid lines for the state you want.
Right. And so for our audio listeners, that's a map setting that you've probably used many times on the geocaching.com
Way
map.
back when there was only browse maps, and then they added this search map, and the browse map is sort of old school stuff, but it has less search capability, but it will work for things.
Mm-hmm.
Show, for example, this is the route line for that trip we just looked at. I'll come back to that.
Hey, I like this. Planning with Cache Tour is much fun as going caching.
It almost is.
I think
think
we
it sounds
all
like it.
agree with you there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
if
one of the
our
things
topic
that-
weren't if our topic weren't dedicated to challenge caching, I would love to talk cache tour all day long with you, Rich.
Yeah,
It is
one of the
such a
things
fantastic
that
product.
somebody pointed out in a county caching discussion I saw today was, hey, people, have some fun out there. Don't just nip across the county boundary and grab one thing and leave. Pick a very interesting cache there for your county and enjoy the trip more.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So my same could apply here. But find something that's along your way but has good favorite points, for example.
Right. And, Rich, I shared with you before the show as well, page 88 of Oregon is so unique in that way. And there's, I think, maybe a few extra caches on that page now, but to go to page 88 and really enjoy it and kind of join the club, you go to this country store in Imnaha, Oregon, and you search for the geocache inside the store. And it is an extremely unique experience,
Yep.
So much better than popping over the page line and getting the first pill bottle that you can find.
Yeah, I found one like that in the California DeLorme Quest too, where you had to go inside.
Yeah.
Let's backtrack a little, and I have done all 3 California DeLormes. Let's talk a little bit about the methodology and the process that went on there. We started with this one here, which is there's home base down here. So this is all blast zone here. It's all been found, right? Because it's near it, without even thinking about this. So we had to drive all the way up here to number 1 to start finding pages. So there was a loop that went here and wound its way up here, and you see a a spur out this way because there's a stupid page out there that isn't connected any other way. This is the shortest route to get in from major roads, number 24. We went up to Reading and we overnighted in Reading, and then we went across what I call darkest California via this route.
Wow.
To pick up pages. And this is remote crap out here. There's
Yeah.
Eel River and Salmon River and things like that out there, and some territory, some reservation territories, and you name it. Sketchy
And I
little
know the
road.
screen is really small, but for those watching, I mean, you can just see twists and turns.
Yeah, that purple line is
Switchbacks and-
extremely squiggly.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
not a straight line.
That's driven by the pages we were picking up.
Uh-huh.
And you've got to remember that we were picking up for both Northern California and Golden State. We typically needed 2 per page. Where they didn't align well, sometimes we had to pick up an extra one across the other view. So that was
Wow.
day 2. It was a 3-day trip
Mm-hmm.
to do this, and we did about 760 miles, I think, on that trip
Wow. Yeah.
over 3 days. And about a couple weeks later, we went back again, and we headed south because there's a section of Northern California that sort of lines up with Death Valley out here somewhere. And so we went that way and did a loop southerly, which ended up picking up some of Southern California, DeLorme at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's Golden State all strewn through here.
Okay.
And you find this is one of those incidents right here. There's a hiccup because we were going across the top of Lake Isabel to get over here to the right side. But there was the Cal fire truck saying, sorry, road closed, we got fire.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Big detour around Bakersfield and then back up 395. This little spur here is what's called Pain in the Ass, PIA, 79, I believe it is. Page 79. One of our local cachers who felt no page should be exempt because it doesn't have any caches in it. We drove all the way out there and put out 2 caches, one for Northern and one for Golden State, to make you drive an extra hour out that way, sign it, and drive back.
Yes.
What a nice guy. or
Nice
gal.
geocacher.
Nice yeah. Thank you for that.
Thinking of everyone.
Oh, wow.
There's also page 62 in the north, which Casey Searcher, who owns the northern one, put 2 caches in after another hour driving down a road to the coast to be sure that page had something in it. I don't know. You've got any people in Oregon who have like to make people drive. And then the third day, which was another trip, we went much further north and cleaned out the top end of the state because we'd done the middle bit here, which required there's another spur out in the middle of California and back again at 13.
Yeah.
We had to nip into Oregon and come back down to get to some of these because that's where the roads go.
Right?
And then we looped around and we came back and we finally came home. So that was the 3 big 3-day trips it took to do the majority of Northern to break the back of the thing. Okay, 1 or 2 loose things that required picking up. If you hadn't been to Yosemite, which we had already, you need to go there, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how many days your trip took. This was 3-day trips to essentially accomplish Northern.
Yeah, mine was picked up here and there. And, looking back, I spent a month living in one section of Oregon that got me a few pages. And I was like so thankful, even though it wasn't on my radar, so a little bit of luck, a little bit of planning. I think I had to finish my trip with a 4-day Eastern Oregon road trip. Yeah.
So back to the map view on browse. Let's, if I looked at this and said, okay, I actually have it, but let's say I need a backup cache near the end of my day at Flagstaff, right? So I can go to DeLorme. There's one called Picture a Train, and it says send a cache to her. Bang. I can write a comment. whatever page number that was. I forget, page 52 or something like that. So that I have that fact stored. 1, 2. And now I've added to my trip one more, a backup for this county, or this page rather. So that's a capsule of how this trip that you see here got thrown together earlier today. And then I had it draw me a route, and I can ask it to, you probably can't see this, I can have it click here, and it draws in the caches that are along that route that are part of the trip. So I can see where they all are.
Very nice.
Yeah, highly effective planning tool, especially. I mean, we've done a couple of seminars out here where we're going from Michigan to Woodstock, and what do you want to find along the way? And as you look at that map, I mean, you have a dot view, but you can see the green for traditional and blue for mystery and things like that. So you can define really what kind of type you want. And, you know, do you want virtuals? Do you want high favorites? Do you want oldies?
So one of the things I'm going to do here, just for anybody who's caching in California, need to know about this. Turn off, the multi-state lets you pick which state you want grid for. Turn that off and turn on the California grid overlay, which I built first because I was doing California. And reload the page. You get a different icon. You get the state icon, and you can see Northern California, Southern California, or Golden State, all with one flip.
Amazing.
Ah, nice.
And you get the various grid. That's the whole state grid. There's the Northern state grid. There's the Southern state grid.
Ah, beautiful.
Okay.
And if I click the name, I can put numbers on them.
Okay.
Right. So this is particularly valuable if you're doing this and you want to make sure that you don't reuse something from Southern, let's say, also in Golden State, because there's an additional logging requirement. You can't do that.
Different fines for each challenge. What was that strategy you said people in California will use?
Well, one strategy is to make sure you log Golden State before you log the subpart, so they don't get to see that you've broken the rule. We played it straight. We found legitimate to each. So that's how the California plugin. If you're doing California, it's particularly valuable. Otherwise, the multi-state one is you're going to pick your state and you're going to run with that one.
Very good.
All righty. What are we going to talk about now? Checking your progress. How do you know when you're done? Some DeLorme challenges have checkers. Northern California has a checker. So your best bet is to take your GC code of your checker, of your cache challenge, go over to challenge checkers in Project GC and paste it in and run a search. It'll either find a checker for that one or it won't.
Right.
And if it finds one, then you can run the checker and see where you stand. If it doesn't,
some because all of these are pre-moratorium challenges.
Yes.
They don't have to have a challenge, but I know that a lot of the challenge writers continue to write scripts for some of those old ones just because they got nothing better to do.
Yeah, some of them, more of them I noticed have acquired checkers than used to be.
Right.
So if people you may find one, in which case your life's a little easier. If you don't have a checker, then your next bet is to go to my geocaching profile, which is a web-based tool. Looks like this. Go through and import your MyFinds GPX to it, so it knows all your caches. Go to Customize Profile and go to US Maps. And under US Maps, you can see DeLorme Maps.
Oh.
So if I bring up Arizona, for example, you can see my status on Arizona.
Okay. Very helpful. And we have these all linked in the show notes, so you guys can use these tools for yourself as well and find them easily.
Definitely want to know that. And there is there's a tamper monkey for that. I've got to get the name wrong, but there is a Project GC Tamper Monkey plugin that if there's a checker, it'll bring it up on the cache page.
Ah, okay. Good. So yes, this is a good way to check. If you're on a Mac or a PC, they both work here. If you are a GSAC user on a PC only, then there is a macro for doing the DeLorme checking there.
And I noticed also in Project GC, if you're just browsing the map, there's multiple map formats you can choose from, and one of them is a DeLorme format as well.
Yeah, it may be the fact that I have too many finds. I tried to bring that up, and it just spun and spun and spun, loading things. And so I fear it is overwhelmed by my number of finds and didn't successfully complete, and I never got to see it run.
Well, that could be, or it takes too long that you just can't wait that long.
I left it for an hour. I came back and it was still spinning.
Oh, I ran a search one time and I let it run overnight, and I finally got results the next day.
Okay, well, these tools are a lot faster than that.
Very good. Thank you for your faster tools.
That's my first choice.
That's good. Wow, this is great stuff, Rich, and I appreciate it. And I learned so much. Even though I have zero interest in county caching or DeLorme caching.
Amazing tools are just so fun to play with, and we're getting some of that in the comments.
One or two more things. Some anecdotes that may help people with strategies. There is a page in Northern California which has exactly, if you're coming in from Highway 101, there's only 2 caches that are going to qualify. And one of them is a virtual, so that's a given. You're going to use that for one of them. And the other one is cache named 5150. And it goes missing regularly. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You've got to hike across a big flat area. And after looking at the logs, we decided that some good old boy doesn't bother going to Harbor Freight when he needs a new ammo can. He goes out and picks up the one from 5150, and it goes missing.
Oh.
Yet 2 or 3 ammo cans have vanished from there. So we contacted the owner and said, hey, if we go there and it isn't there, can we replace it with something other than an ammo can? So he said, yeah. So we took a big peanut jar. And sure enough, there was an ammo can-sized hole in the bush. No ammo can. We put the peanut jar there, and it's still there today.
All right. Well done. You've changed the world for the better. With owner permission is the key to that.
Yes. Another one that we did that was sort of an interesting anecdote. Coming into page 26 for Southern Cal from the west is a long slog down some not so great roads. If you're on the east side of the Sierras on 395, it's a straight climb up the road to Kearsarge Pass Trailhead. Easy drive, a lot of climbing, beautiful mountain. We had made arrangements with a cacher named Snoopy Rocks over there who works over there that we know. And we said, if we hide 2 caches at the Kearsarge Pass Trailhead, will you look after them for us? She said, oh, sure, no problem. I've got a bunch of caches I look after out there. And so my buddy and I went up there, and I hid one for him, and he hid one for me. And we did a pre-find because we signed them and we left. The next day, FTF hound from maybe 100 miles away showed up and found them both.
Wow.
Then we could log them legitimately.
Sure.
Right.
And so we provided for anybody who's coming in from 395 an easier way to get that page.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Again, making the world a better place.
Yeah. The other one that's memorable was the little town of Covelo. Golden State, page 48. We drove for an hour down sketchy roads for a lamppost hide. It was
Sonny would be so happy.
Only game in town. You probably have some memorable finds up in Oregon too, I suspect.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Luckily, a lot of them, like you said, I went for something that met the requirement, but also was a showcase of the area. So I do have really great memories.
Yep. So in terms of, unless there's other questions, in terms of wrapping up, I'd like to just say you're going to see some really amazing places in your state if you go to these. Places you might never go otherwise. And you're going to have memories galore. I found an albino redwood tree.
Hmm.
I went up to Kearsarge Pass, as I just said, at 9,000 feet. I went to Scotty's Castle in Death Valley and went to the Manzanar internment camp, a more sober stop. Bodie Ghost Town and Catalina Island, of course. So these are places that I might not have gone otherwise.
Yeah.
I have memories of them now. So you should put this among your grand challenge list, along with the Jasmer, the full DT grid, a full calendar grid, all the counties, and a cache across America. So you should go challenge yourself.
Hey, that's
and
another
don't
thing.
forget
We'll
Cache
plug
Odyssey.
ourselves. Yep, Cache Odyssey, our Geocache Talk Network cache Geo Tour. Yeah.
So that's about all I had. If we've got any questions floating out there.
Oh, that is super.
So there's just a comment, and we know you know, and there's just so much more that could be talked about, but Cachly has an overlay for
I forgot that. We should try that. See if we can get it to work.
Sure, if you can pull that up. And they have a help page. So I linked to that in the show notes as well. So that can get you. So Rich's document can get you started and assisted with all these tools he's been showing you so far.
You want to put me in stage? You may have to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I removed you, so I think you have to stop sharing now, and then you have to start sharing that other screen.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Let's try that. Okay. Present. Share screen. Window, I think we wanted.
I think we were, yes.
Okay, how about that?
No.
No? You have to put this
coming.
You have to put it.
There we go. Now we go. Yep.
Okay, this Cachely Pro added support for DeLorme grids and counties and regions as part of the Cachely Pro update. He built the DeLorme grid off my data that I used for the plugin. Hey, it's good. It's there. It's proven. So you go here, you import, you initialize it with your GPX from iFind, so it knows what all the stuff is, where you're starting at. You click DeLorme grid. Let's go to Arizona again. We were just messing with Arizona. View all, and I can see the pages where I have finds in green and the pages where I don't in red.
Beautiful.
I can click on one of them and says I have 0 there. I can click there and refresh that and see the available caches in that page.
A reason to switch to iPhone.
And then I can add these lists, for example.
I'm not a Cachely Pro user because, again, counties aren't my thing. But I'm waiting for CarPlay to be able to have this as part of it.
Right. Well, counties are very similar to what we just did with DeLorme. You'll see something very similar there. So we have all the ones that were in the list that you can see here. Minnesota has 2, one for 2 different DeLorme publications, one in 2010 and a later one. Mm-hmm. There's a handful of states which have
I recall that.
Reasons. So that's the Cachely interface to doing DeLorme. So if you're an iOS user, you might consider that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm done, except I want to put a plug-in.
Yeah, this is
all right.
This is great. I want you to share your awesome upcoming event.
Let's see. I have to stop, or can I just switch windows on that? Let me see. I might have to stop and come back, don't I?
Yeah, I think you do.
Let's go that route then. Share screen. Chrome tab, maybe. Oh, we're using window. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, we'll do that one. Okay, so I'm going to go here. We're going to find a cache. The mnemonic is GCA mega you really need.
I love that.
I love it. Yeah. What a
Cache in the Bay 2025 is now a block party.
Woo.
The store is open. We've got early bird pricing till the end of this month. We're having it at History Park San Jose, which fits nicely with our history theme for 25 years of geocaching. We're going to have some exciting activities, lots of adventure labs. We will have a replica of the original stash there, complete with contents like the thing that looks like the log sheet and a tape recorder from Tandy Radio Shack and a book that was in there and a slingshot that was in there. And there'll be a speaker with Dave Ulmer narrating the creation of that cache that you can listen to.
That's so great.
So we're celebrating a lot of history there. We hope to have somebody replicate a Mingo lookalike to show there.
And a neat fact that you told me was how many things have originated in that area of California.
Until we started looking, we didn't realize that the Bay Area had major contributions to caching. We all know Jasmer's there. That's a Bay Area hider. We know the Fizzy Grid originated there. That's 2. We know that DeLorme Challenges originated. That's 3. We know, which most people don't know, that the cache type we call blinker originated there by Marky and Joni. They created, Joni created this thing she saw from the craft store and stuck a magnet in it, little tiny thing, and made a cache. And there's a cache called Blinker where it was first used.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
The other one that's Bay Area, Certitude, is based here.
Yeah, that's right.
And one more for good measure, both iOS and Android's headquarters are here in the Bay Area for the phones you use. So lots of contributions out of the Bay Area.
That's great. So definitely a mega you really need to check out. GCAMYRN. I love it. So man, Rich, this is amazing. Everyone in the comments is so happy for a really relatable, usable tool. So thank you for putting your work out there, letting people find it and use it, and your dedication, making this game so much better. Thank you.
Okay. Hope if we go out and finish the DeLormes.
Absolutely. So, and now then it really must be.
Hi, I'm Fox and the Hound, actual name Chris Mackey. I'm from Carbondale, Pennsylvania, and it's time for the Wheel of Challenges.
Ooh, all right.
Yes, all right. One live viewer each month will be selected to face off the wheel to have a chance to win the grand prize, a 1-year membership on Project GC. We ask that you limit yourself to 3 lifetime wins. So to enter, open up your email with the subject containing these words, spin me, and your Geocache username in brackets, and answer this question. How many DeLorme challenges does California have? All right.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go to the email and see who our first correct answer is from.
All right. And while you do that, I'll bring the wheel back up on the stage. And we will sing and dance a little bit.
That's right. Waiting.
Well, Rich, we've been to a number of events together, but you're not attending Woodstock this year, right?
No, I've got plans to do some of the in California block parties.
Okay.
Southern California has a spring fling at the start of May, and San Diego is planning one for October.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I know. My money tree lost a lot of leaves this year in terms of the events that I'm going to, and I'm not really leaving the Midwest.
Yeah, Flagstaff was close enough, but all the way across the country's a ways.
Yeah, it is. I had a lot of fun in Flagstaff, and I think we're going to have a blast in Morgantown.
Good. All right, we have our first correct answer, and it's Star Cacher, and the answer to that question is 3 California DeLorme challenges. So let's spin that wheel.
Way to go, Jim. All right. Oops, I keep trying to hit the button on the wrong one. Round and round and round she goes, and
we landed on a 5 difficulty.
Oh, I have this one. This one is such a fun challenge.
Yeah.
I know this one.
73KFN, Romeo Bravo, Bob BBB Red Baron Challenge, not the 20. I don't know what that could possibly be about from the title.
It's about a whole bunch of stuff. This is a 365-day challenge where you need 11 different cache icons, and you can only have so many of each type. Like you can only do 40 traditionals at most. You need at least 1 mega, at least one webcam. And as difficult as I think this challenge is, it's only a 60.
Wow. That sounds exactly like the one that I'm working towards that I signed in Memphis that they hid for Cache Fest down there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think we did put one. I gotta get Starcacher right.
Starkacher.
Kacher. Starkacher.
All right, here we go. Running the checker.
Hey,
Congrats! You
qualified.
qualify for that 5 difficulty challenge. Well
Nice job,
done.
Jim. And you can see, I really like the output from this script.
Yeah.
Because it shows you the cache type and it shows you the date and then it gives you a list of everything. So this was a really well done script for this cache.
I had to run it. I passed.
Yay! All right.
Very good. Very good.
And I was in Nebraska, and this is one that I've actually signed. So that could be why it made it into the list for our wheel.
Maybe
it
so.
so much.
I think I might only be 12 or so dates away, but it's still extremely hard for me and where I live. So well done. Happy for you.
Yeah,
all right. And now we're going to share our monthly challenge submissions. Every month, we give a congratulatory shout out to listeners who email us proof of qualifying and logging a cache since the last show. So if you have one to share, send an email to challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com with the information about that cache, photos if you'd like to share as well, and entrants will be entered into the prize giveaway for a Challenge Talk path tag. So here's some submissions for the month.
And I really got to say, this was a light month, but
it was a light month, maybe because it's winter. I don't know, but we're heading into spring. Hopefully we'll see more.
I don't know, maybe, but our first one came in from the Cheeky Brit. And of course, we know the Cheeky Brit is another challenge obsessed cacher. He sent in the 1020 challenge cache, GC4 AP. And this is to find at least 10 caches in at least 20 different states or provinces. So well done, Cheeky Brit.
Yeah. And this next one is from Roadie Guy. This is GCB28VY. Always read the fine print challenge. Hey, that's a theme for our DeLorme topic tonight. And this one is a take on attributes. Find an attribute for every DT combination, positive or negative. So I ran the checker on myself to like wrap my head around it. And basically, for all those different 81 caches, you need 81 different attributes.
Yep.
Oh, so it's not an 81 for every attribute.
No.
Because I have 7 attributes that have a full 81 grid.
Oh, neat.
There is a challenge for that.
And so this one's rated, what, 35 difficulty on the checker?
36.
So 36. So yeah, a lot easier than what you just mentioned, but still a really neat take on an attribute challenge. I haven't seen that before. So
like
that was neat
Where
to
did
see.
my mouse go? And another one from Roadie Guy. This has been the Roadie Guy month.
That's right. But we liked what you sent in. These are very unique.
Well, yeah, these are some really cool ones. GCB29NB. And this is ending in one challenge. So there's a list of challenges that you have to find, and you have to find enough that it ends in one. So 1 webcam, 11 events, 21 states, 31 days, and 41 live caches, etc.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool challenge. And the third one that Roadie Guy sent in is GCB2AK6. Is it Friday challenge? And this is to find 31 caches on separate Fridays. So each of those Fridays must be a unique day of the month. For example, Friday on the 1st of every month of any year, Friday on the 2nd month of any year, Friday on the 3rd of any month any year, etc. So that was just another unique take. You can really take statistics in so many different ways. And I really appreciate hearing what you guys find because I don't have these ideas on my own. So I love hearing about it.
Yeah, this was a pretty good one. I like that.
Doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't steal it for your local people.
That's exactly right. That's typically what I've done up here in my area, is taken someone else's and made it some form of inspirational type cache. Yeah. All right. So like Tim said, we were pretty light this month, but we appreciate all submissions. And our winner of the Challenge Talk Path Tag this month is Roadie Guy. And it was
there's a surprise.
not because he had 3, but just because there was only 2 possible winners and he came
Right.
up on the
It was a
randomizer.
50-50 shot.
It
Sorry
was
about
still
that, Matt.
50-50. So remember to send your challenge cache finds from tonight until next month's show, which will be the second Tuesday of April 8th.
And remember, there's lots of events coming out. So you want to make sure you remember to say hi in that special way.
I'm B Genius. I'm from Tampa, Florida. Challenge accepted.
Howdy, Electric Water Boy from Selma, Texas, and challenge completed.
So it does depend on whether you see Emily or me to get the right phrase. But with the right phrase, we might have something in our pocket for you.
Hopefully. Very good. And remember, show notes this month, so much data for you guys. Remember to check that out. They'll be posted shortly after the show airs in the video description and linked in the podcast description.
So we want to thank everybody for watching and listening. We especially want to thank Rich for being a great part of the show tonight. And
hi, Emily's mom here, just popping in to say thanks for watching today.
woohoo! So remember,
I always love to see that. Thanks, Mom.
it's not about the numbers, it's about the challenge.
Challenge accepted. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right.